Jos LeDuc. Everybody has a good Jos LeDuc story.
Oh, God. He was a madman. We traveled around. We had a great crew. There's King Curtis, Joe, Mr. Saito, Masa Saito, uh, Killer Khan, Masao Hattori, the manager, the referee. He was an amateur wrestler too from Japan. And Joe had a big van. He called it the Starship. And he'd just drive. It was his big screwdriver in his hand. And yeah, Joe was a good guy. We used to have Sunday blowouts. I gave you the last hour. I gave you the lineup of the Florida towns, the Florida. It changed after later in this run. That 77 to 79, that era back there, where they had Monday was still West Palm, Tuesday was still Tampa, Wednesday TV in Miami, Thursday became a spot show. I don't, just a high school or VFW or something. Friday was either Tallahassee or Fort Lauderdale. Saturday wasn't a double yet. Saturday was still Sarasota, St. Petersburg, whatever. But Sunday they changed. They ran. Eddie Graham bought that rodeo thing in Orlando, rodeo rink, and they converted that to the Eddie Graham Memorial Sportatorium up in Orlando. So we had that Sunday night, and we had Jacksonville Sunday afternoon. And so we would, as the heels would all, everybody was like potluck. Everybody called it potluck here in Hawaii. Everybody bring a dish or a plate, something. And I remember Jos LeDuc, he really got into it. One time he brought his whole crock pot, and he's making Canadian roast. And he had a pot roast with gravy and everything else going. Briscoes were big. We'd go to Butler Aviation and, set up our stuff when we finished the matches in Jacksonville. We had coolers and rum and it was like a Club Med of everything, just everything there. We're just going. So we'd have everybody have a big plate of food and whatever the wife made, or steaks and barbecue and Korean beef and all. So the Briscoes are always smart. They'd come to the window and we'd pass them plates of food out the window with their lunch. They knew where the best lunch in town was, and we had it back at Butler Aviation. And we're all packing. Everybody was packing heavy, and everything. We filled the watermelon full of rum. The last flight back, the 90-minute flight back from Orlando. Yeah, those are good days. Florida was good days. You'd wrestle different opponent every night. That's when you still knew how to work. You still knew how to work back in those days, because you were again. You're changing every night. Every night you're going through something. Somebody different. You're not necessarily completely different, but different styles, different. It wasn't me and Pedro every night, or me and Steamboat every night, all over. Jumping all over the country. Up and down the coast, San Francisco, San Diego to L.A., to Bakersfield, to San Francisco, to Portland, to Seattle. All up and down every night. You lose all any creativity, whatever insights you may have. We're back in those days wrestling some, Jack Briscoe one night, Mike Graham next night, somebody else, Steve Kern the next night. You were able to, Manny Fernandez another night, Bobo Brazil. You're able to keep fresh, keep different. So it was different eras.
Two questions there. I know it was a different era, way before pre 9/11. Were you allowed to take the rum watermelon on the plane with you?
We were traveling in Twin Beaches, private charters.
Oh, right. So yes.
No, we weren't. We weren't. This isn't Delta Airlines or U.S. Air. No, we had our own. We had our own Twin Beaches. we'd fly out of Tampa, but Butler Aviation was the pretty much around the United States. That's where all the rock stars and movie stars and rich people travel now. Is out of the private planes and the private jets, and that's what we had in those days. Just twin engines. But.
And one more thing, you said Joe LeDuc was a wild man. Wildest Joe LeDuc story. I've got a feeling you thought of one, and then you sort of backtracked and didn't say it.
Well, there's a lot of stuff I backtracked. And one night coming out of Fort Myers, we're in either Hattori's van. It must have been Hattori's because Joe wasn't driving. We were in Hattori's van, so it was like a rainy night, and we're doing fabulous business. We're doing over $2,000 a week in Florida with that. Like Curtis was wrestling Dusty in Miami. Bad Leroy Brown or somebody else had him up in Tampa. I had him in Jacksonville. They're different. And Jack in Miami, and it's mixed up like that. So coming out of Fort Myers, anyway, long story. Coming out of Fort Myers, we all filed into Hattori's van, and Joe was at the back position, the last one to get in on the door. So they're coming and people were giving us the business as we're going along. So we're going. One guy standing with his girlfriend. He pulls his shirt up. And he's got a big knife sticking out there. And Joe slid the door open, and he was left-handed too, like Harley. And boom, he cracked the guy right in the lips. And the guy folded like that, spun around, and fell face first into a puddle of water. And almost drowned. So we got back. We're driving in the car, picked up our beer. So we're headed up. We're up by Punta Gorda, which is 35, 40 miles north of Fort Myers. So the van turned awful quiet, after it had gone real quiet after that. And so we got there. So finally we're going through Punta Gorda, and us, King Curtis. Curtis goes, "Whew, oh, well, he's alive. Otherwise, there would have been a roadblock up here to stop us." Oh, God. But I guess that was the start of Joe's, the hard times that Joe fell upon, that he got hit with that lawsuit. The guy sued him. Yeah. He got hit with that lawsuit off that. Oh, I just crushed the guy. He just, boom, put him to sleep. One shot. 300-something pounds coming down out of a van. Good thing he didn't fall on his knife. He would have killed himself.